That is the target for radar. Now, initially we need to set its height, and we're going to do that by simply using the pointer that's on the back of it. Now, let me kind of move up there. There's the pointer, and I'm going to need to align that with the bottom of the radar unit. Now, the radar unit in this vehicle, that little black cover right below the H. Now, I'm going to need to get in there and pull that cover off. It just snaps in place, okay? Nothing really fancy about that. And there is the radar unit right there. I'm going to need to move this pointer from the back of the radar unit, or radar target. And we need to adjust him so he's just on the bottom edge of the face here of this radar. Okay, next thing I need to do is to draw a line on the target. Now, this line I'm going to need to draw, I'm going to need to make sure it's in pencil. You don't want a permanent mark on here. This is a PVC stand, and it's the only one that you'll probably have in your shop. So you want to be able to use it multiple times. So I'm just going to draw a pencil line. Okay, up here, this is where we placed the pointer on the back of that radar target. And you can see just at the bottom of the face of that radar unit where we put it. There's the line we drew. Sorry, there's the line that we drew at that point. Now what we need to do is measure 22 millimeters up from that first line, draw a second line, and then place the target at that level. And that is going to be the aiming height for that target. So that's what we need to do next. Okay, I need to go 22 millimeters now up from that mark. Looks like I'm there. Okay, that is where the new target height is. It's time to use the scan tool now so that we can enter into the radar aiming mode. I'm going to go ahead and access the driving support, integrated driver support system. I need to go into adjustment. And radar aiming. Before I hit the enter, I need to make sure that my target is not in front of the vehicle. During this part of the procedure, the radar is going to scan in front of it to see if there are any targets. There should be none. If it picks up a target during this part of the aiming procedure, then I've got some unwanted reflected radar, and I need to find what that object is that's being reflected by the radar and remove it, cover it, or move the vehicle to a different location to test. So everything is removed from in front of the vehicle. We'll go ahead and enter. And at this point, the dash should be doing some things, should have some blinking lines, and I need to look to make sure that it says no target. It says no target on the dash, so I am good to go to the next phase here. Now, the next phase is going to have me set my target up. So we'll go ahead and put the target in place, make sure that it's centered well, the center line of the vehicle. We'll also then make sure that it is over the mark that I drew. We're going to need to take that target off, and there's a little sleeve that slides over top of this. Honda wants to make sure that this is centered on the center line. To pull the string through this little sleeve, a couple V notches cut for that to go in. And what we need to do then, we need to make sure that the target is centered on that dot that we drew on the floor there. Now, They want you to look down through that hole and then align it with the mark that we drew in the center here. Now I'm going to suggest something a little bit different. If I shine a light through the hole, it will show me when I've got it around my mark. And all right, so move him back just a touch. Let me move that line a little bit. There we go. I'm on the dot. Okay. Okay, so what it wants us to do is to pull that line taut, and we want to make sure that we're centered, still on that centering target there. And we want to make sure that that line there basically bisects that front leg there. Then we're going to very carefully remove that collar or that sleeve there with its line on there. Get that out of the way. We're going to put our target back in place. My target is in position. It's time to hit the enter button for the next phase. All right, what this is telling me is how well that radar is aimed. I'm looking at the vertical misalignment angle. That is 0 degrees. That's about perfect. Our specs are 0 plus or minus 0.1 degree. Horizontal misalignment angle says we're at 0.11 degree. Almost within tolerance, so we'll need to make an adjustment on that. Here's a 3.5 millimeter tool. That adjustment screw right there is going to be my vertical. This adjustment screw here, that is my horizontal. All right, I made an adjustment, and we can see I've affected both. Let's try this a little more. All right, horizontals. Negative 0.08, that's within specs. Let's take a look and see what's going on with that vertical. We'll make the adjustment on the vertical and see if we can get that back to close to 0. Okay, I'm happy with that. Both are within specs. Time for the next part. Okay, we'll hit the enter button. Dash has changed a little bit. Okay, now we can see that both the dash has gone back to its normal setup, and the scan tools told us that the radar has been completed. Okay, I need to hit the enter button. It's going to tell me to turn the ignition switch off. And then it'll tell me to turn it back on again. And everything is complete. Okay, now we can put the radar cover back on and button it up. We'll take the cover, snap it back in place, and that's that.